We gon' talk about some things tonight. Got a tea in a glass with ice. We got voices, we got views tonight. We got voices, we got views tonight. We gon' talk about some things tonight. Got a tea in a glass with ice. We got voices, we got views tonight. We got voices, we got views tonight. Come to the light.
Hello. What's going on, everybody? Sorry, we're a little couple of minutes late. You know technology. You
Yeah.
know it has its own time.
Right.
So what's going on? Welcome back to Voices and Views with Zan and Chels. We appreciate you all for being here with us tonight. And not just tonight, but every night. Whether you're watching live, whether you're catching a replay, or you're listening from somewhere across the world. Or it still amazes me that we can still sit right here in Freeport and we can connect with people all over the world, everywhere at the same time. That alone says a lot about technology, how it has changed what's possible for everyday people.
Right. It really did. And
Mhm.
honestly, that ties directly into tonight's topic because people have been saying for years now that technology is making everybody dumb.
Hmm.
Every few months, somebody posts some big rant online talking about
Mhm.
how phones ruin society, AI
Mhm.
ruined creativity and art, and social media ruined attention spans. All of it.
Mhm.
And I don't fully agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I think the company.
I don't think we're in the same spot.
Me neither. I think people confuse change with decline. Okay. And those are not the same thing. Just because something looks different doesn't automatically mean it's worse. Sometimes it just means we're adapting.
Right?
The chat has expanded. You're not where we are. Hold on. Let's get caught up and get you where we are. You should be in that one.
This isn't right.
Mhm.
This isn't the whole thing. It's gonna be brief.
So, why don't you put us where we need to
Yeah, go back to
be?
the top, the very top, and
And
then scroll
and
down.
I'm gonna go back to the top, and we're gonna make sure we in the same spot here, you guys. Okay, if I can get to the top, is there a top anywhere on here? You sure there's a top? Look how long this thing is.
That is.
Is this the one? This
Yeah,
has to
that's
be.
why. That's
Is
why I was
this the
saying it
one?
wasn't.
No, that says segment 4. So
Yeah,
this
keep
has to
going.
be the right
Yeah,
one.
this is the right one. That's what I
How
was
many?
saying.
How many
It crunched
seg?
it down when you.
Well, and that's just it. It needs to stop doing stuff that it's not told to do. When you're doing stuff, and we're on the right subject to talk about technology. So
Right,
I
of
hope it's
course,
something in there. I
technology.
hope it's something
It
in there to
would.
tell how people still need to be around because somebody needs to take control and say, no, you did that wrong. No, you did that wrong. We can't just face it and let it go. Is this the big
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Is that where we start? Hmm?
Well, we did, yeah.
Is that the right one? I just want to
Yeah,
make sure we're on.
keep going up, though. Up, yeah.
So it's in this one?
Hmm.
Wait a minute. This?
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Oh, see, and when we put too much stuff in one thing together,
Yeah.
that's what happens instead of getting rid of the other stuff. So I don't want to read everything over.
Right. We can keep
So
going.
I'm trying to find where we were though, which I don't seem to. I must have went too far.
Yeah,
No.
basically we were at the part where I said people have been ranting online about how phones ruin society, AI ruined creativity, and social media ruined attention spans.
Okay.
And I don't fully agree with that.
I don't fully agree with that either.
Right.
Because I think people sometimes, what they confuse changes with declining sometimes. Don't you feel that?
Yeah.
They feel like it's a bad thing, but those are not always the same thing because humans have always adapted to new tools. Remember that.
Right.
That's literally part of human history. We changed when books became common. We changed when cars became common. We
Mm-hmm.
changed when the internet showed up.
Right.
Now, AI and modern technology are changing things again, and people are trying to figure out what that really means.
And I think a lot of this conversation really comes down to how people define intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your definition of being smart is just memorizing a bunch of information, then yeah, technology probably does feel threatening. But if intelligence is also our creativity, our
Mm-hmm.
problem solving,
Yes,
our
that's true.
communication,
Mm-hmm.
our imagination,
Yes.
and our ability to adapt, then I think these tools can actually help people do more.
Yes. Yes.
I know for me personally, some of these
Mm-hmm.
tools have made me more productive than ever.
Right. And exactly, because there's also this bigger conversation underneath all of it that people don't always say out loud. A lot of knowledge used to be heavily gatekept.
Mm-hmm.
Certain careers, skills, industries felt almost impossible to break into unless you had money and connections or you had years of formal training. And so now regular people can learn things from home, which
Right?
is good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They can build businesses from home. They
Mm-hmm.
can make content from home.
Mm-hmm.
They can create things that used to require teams to do. And that changed the balance completely.
Completely.
Mm-hmm.
And some people love that. And some people absolutely hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Because now the playing field looks different than it used to. The internet and AI tools gave a
Mm-hmm.
lot more people access to all this information and the opportunities that were harder to even reach before.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes some people uncomfortable whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah. And so tonight, we're talking about all of it. Just want to say, please, you guys, this is a two-way conversation. So talk back to us. Are we really actually getting dumber? Let's pause a minute on there. By using all these tools, do it make us dumber? Are we getting dumber? Are we using our brains differently now? Are these tools helping people or are they hurting people? And why are some of the loudest critics of technology also the same people using it every single day? I don't get it. They're complaining, but they still use it. I don't get it.
And if you're hanging out with us
Because they're
tonight,
text, they're complaining about it, texting something, but they're using. Put your phone down, burn it, throw it away. Hell, let's see if we can make it make sense. How about that?
yeah, and if you are hanging out with us tonight, definitely think about your own habits too while we talk.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with everything we say, but this is one of those conversations where there's a lot of angles to it.
Mhm.
So, this is episode 68 of Voices and Views with Zane and Chels. Let's get into it.
All right. So, all right before we jump into tonight's conversation, we're going to take a quick second here for some announcements to get those out the way.
Yeah, this is a part of the show where we go through our announcements and our sponsor information and our upcoming reminders and everything that we
Mm-hmm.
already have prepared
Mm-hmm.
for tonight.
So give us a minute while we handle these announcements, and then we'll get right into the topic because I already know this conversation is going to have people really thinking tonight.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yes.
And if you're just joining us, tonight's episode is called Are We Actually Getting Dumber?
So hold that thought and come back to us, and we're going to read some announcements. So don't go anywhere.
Right.
Okay. Memorial Day. Oh, this is one, and I don't know if they're in any order, but
Mhm.
Memorial Day, May 25th from 11 to 1 p.m. Memorial Day and Children's Mental Health Awareness Community Celebration and Proclamation. And that's going to be at the Freeport Arts Plaza. Memorial Day and Children's Mental Health Awareness Community Celebration and Proclamation. Join us this Memorial Day as we honor the future they fought for a while, coming together to uplift and to support the mental health of our children and our families. And we do have several hosts, and I wanted to say that Operation Freeport has been asked to be a host. So we
Aw.
will be there, asked to be one of the sponsors along with a few others. So we will be there to help sponsor this event. We will keep reading until that time. Also, Voices, we will be there and we will be streaming live. And you guys need to come out and see what we have to offer.
Yes.
Saturday, May 23rd from 9 to 12. Mastermind Marketing. This is by Think Big. Think Big in Rockford, 1311 North Main Street. That's where we graduated from.
Right.
Think Big Business School over there. Chels and I recently
Yes.
graduated. We
Yes.
graduated.
Yeah.
Mastermind Marketing is a collaborative session designed to help entrepreneurs and business owners strengthening their marketing strategies through shared insight, expert guidance, and peer support. Participants come together to discuss real marketing challenges, exchange ideas, and receive constructive feedback to improve branding, messaging, customer engagement, and growth strategies. And so that's Think Big, and that's Saturday, May 23rd. That's over in Rockford. Go ahead online and look them up. They have plenty of events coming up. May 7th, 7 p.m., and it goes all the way to May 9th at 7 p.m. So that's a 2 day event. Peter Pan Goes Rome. Event by the Jeanette Lloyd Theater, and that's at 701 West Empire, right here in Freeport. Brace yourself for an awful big adventure as the Cornley Drama Society attempts to bring J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan to life. What could possibly go wrong? With flying effects, pyrotechnics, and even a few sharp hooks. You guys, that's on May 7th, and it's for 2 days, and that's at the Jeanette Lloyd Theater. And you guys can go out and check out and see what goes wrong with Peter Pan. Parents' Night Out PJ Party. Calling all parents. Enjoy a stress free evening while your kids have an awesome time with us. Friday, that's today. It's going on now.
Mhm.
5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So, you guys, if you're not there now, you should try to get there. It's at Craig Park. So, I'm sure it's indoors at one of those shelters there. You can drop your kids off for a fun filled night at the park while parents get to enjoy some well deserved time to themselves.
Mhm.
Kids are invited to wear their PJs and to join us for evening of music, movies, pizza, snacks, crafts, and games. but you must be registered by May 1st. I'm sorry. And that's sponsored by the Freeport Park District. Coming May 16th, coming up, that's next week or the week after, I don't know. 8 p.m. to 12 a.m., the real deal. And so they're going to be at the King's Bar and Grill right here
Mm-hmm.
in Freeport on May 16th from 8 to 12 p.m. You guys come on out if you like good music that you can listen to and you can relate to. Come
Mm-hmm.
out and listen. I plan on being there. All right, just a few more here. The 8th annual Community Fun Day free bicycle giveaway. I
Yay.
like that. That's May 30th at Taylor Park, 1 p.m. until they're done. You come out and support the 8th Community Fun Day. Fun
Mm-hmm.
for all ages. All kids' games will include prizes. Free refreshments for everyone, and they're doing bike raffles, so they'll be giving away bikes for kids 13 and under. One ticket per child, parent, or guardian must be present with the child to get a bike.
Mm-hmm.
So don't send your child, you have to be there. It's sort of like church. Don't send them there, go with them. So, and just to shout out us here, Voices and Views, because this flyer is on our page. Look at
Mm-hmm.
me showing it to the TV screen like you can see it. And that's our sponsorship. We do have a sponsorship package put together where
Yeah.
people can donate to us directly, or you become a regular sponsor, and it'll break down the different packages according to what you want to pay. And we will advertise, we will promote your events, we will come to your events when
Mm-hmm.
available according to your sponsor package. And we will be there full force to make sure you get everything, plus you get so much more. But you
Right.
need to go on our page on Facebook,
Yep.
Voices and Views with Zan and Chels, and you will see that. Then you can go ahead and read all the details. All right, first ever Juneteenth parade. Walk with us in unity. This is going to be a 3-day event. I plan on taking part.
Oh.
June 19th to the 21st, Saturday, starting June 20th. Taylor
Mm-hmm.
Park lineup for the parade is 9:30 a.m. The parade starts at 11:30. They're going to have dance teams, live drums, candy for the crowd,
Oh,
concessions, and
nice.
so much more. Everyone is welcome to join. Calling all businesses and organizations, create your own banners and walk with us. Vendor opportunities for all 3 days. Businesses, you get $50 and it covers all 3 days, which is very cheap because I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you'll make that in 3 days. Nonprofits is only $25 for all 3 days. They even have youth vendors. They only pay the youth vendors pay $10, and that's for all 3 days.
Aw.
And on Sunday, Church in the Park, join us for powerful choirs and soulful gospel music. And then they're having the Father's Day grill off. Winner takes home the trophy. Community award ceremony. Win the raffle for a new shed. Wow.
Wow.
Built by the Men of Change Youth. All right. That's awesome. That is awesome. You can get a shed. I need a shed. And I don't care who built it, long as it's stand and don't fall down. I need a shed. Make sure I come out there and take a part of that raffle there. And community events include young and adult speakers, poets, kids crafting and educational activities,
Mm-hmm.
mental health resources, insurance and financial education, and Rockford Black Chambers, and much, much more. And to find out more, contact Akia Sanders at 815-238-3601. All right, I love it. I love it. I love it. Definitely
That
will
sounds
be
like
a
an
part.
amazing event.
This sounds like a full amazing event, and it's a 3-day event.
Mm-hmm.
So we find time, and we definitely will be plugging in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we definitely will have a presence there.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
one last but not least, the Young Entrepreneur Expo is coming up soon, and that's going to be sponsored by my organization, Operation Love Freeport, also
Mm-hmm.
along with High Hope Freeport. And this is the second annual one. It's going to be Saturday, July 11th, 2026, from 12 to 3 at the Adams and Main Street stage. Young entrepreneurs, 8 to 18, bring your products, bring your talent, bring your hustle, whatever they may be, whatever you want to sell. Is completely free for you to register. You get to keep everything you make. This is all about promoting the youth. And I want to encourage anyone who's an organization who support youth. Is I'm giving you this invitation to come out and set up a booth, set up a stand or whatever, and pass out your resources, what you have, and bring a treat for the kids, any of the kids that show up. Bring a treat. I'm telling everybody who's not a youth vendor, if you want to come out and support, bring something for the kids too.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So, all right, let's dive back in.
All right, we're talking technology,
Hmm.
AI, social media, learning,
Mhm.
attention spans, and whether people are really losing intelligence or just changing how they use their brain.
Oh, that could be. All right, let's go ahead and get through these announcements. We read the announcements. All right, let's get started with the main question tonight. Are people actually getting dumber? Because if you spend 5 minutes online, of course, I spend more than that, and
Right.
everybody do, you'll hear somebody saying society is cooked. Nobody thinks anymore. Phones ruined everybody. AI ruined everybody. How many times have we heard that?
Oh yeah, I've heard that all the
Social
time.
media ruined everybody.
Mhm.
People say it constantly now.
Mhm.
And honestly, I can think of some of that panic happens every time the world changes.
Exactly. People said calculators were going to ruin math skills.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, people were worried books would ruin memory because
Yes.
people didn't have to memorize stories the same way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Then television was supposedly destroying brains. Then video games. Then the internet. And then Photoshop was.
Don't even go
Yeah.
there with Photoshop.
Yeah. Photoshop isn't a
The
real.
devil.
Yeah.
Hmm. They really got on to that. So,
Mhm.
and just hearing you mention the ones you named off, I'm thinking people have really had a problem with everything.
Yeah, now AI became the
And
new
now
thing
AI
that
is the new
everyone's
thing,
afraid.
so everybody's gonna reject it. And I'm so tired of hearing the water stories because we did a whole series on that
We
to prove a
educated
lot of
people
things, and
about.
we educated people exactly. So instead of people just throwing stuff out there, we brought the proof in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And look, I'm not saying technology can't be used in unhealthy ways because we know it can, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are absolutely addicted to scrolling. Some people cannot sit in silence without grabbing their phones. Pans, attention spans have definitely changed, but I think people make a mistake when they assume technology itself is automaking humans less intelligent.
Yeah, because using tools has always been a part of human life.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody calls somebody lazy for using a washing machine instead of scrubbing their clothes by hand.
Wow, true.
And nobody says you're cheating because you use GPS instead of unfolding one of those giant paper maps in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So technology changes how we do things, but that doesn't automatically mean humans got worse.
Yeah, because then honestly, some of this feels less like fear of technology and more like fear of losing old definitions of being smart. Years ago, if you had specialized information that gave a lot of power, certain jobs,
Mm-hmm.
industries, and skills were hidden behind expensive education or insider knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody can learn almost anything online if they're willing to put the time into it.
And that's the part that people don't always say out loud. The
Mhm.
internet removed a lot of gates. You can learn editing on YouTube, you can learn business online, You can
Mhm.
learn coding from tutorials. You don't even really have to learn coding at this point
That's
anymore.
right.
You can ask AI questions all day long until
Mhm.
you understand something better. And that changes who gets the access to these opportunities.
Exactly. And I think some people mistake the access for stupidity because now regular people can do things that used to require huge barriers to enter. Like years ago, building an app sounded impossible to most people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Editing professional video sounded impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Running your own media company sounded impossible
Voices and views.
unless you have voices and views. Sorry, y'all, I just couldn't resist on that. Unless you have major money behind you. And we prove that's not so.
Right.
So now people are doing those things, guess what? Right from the bedrooms.
Yeah.
This
And
is a bedroom.
yeah. And honestly, I think intelligence today looks
Hmm.
different than it did before.
Yes.
It's less about memorizing random facts and
Hmm.
more about knowing how to find information, connect ideas, communicate clearly,
Hmm.
solve problems, and actually make something useful with the tools available to you. That still takes thinking.
Yeah, that takes a lot of thinking because people act like using technology means your brain shuts off completely. And that's not true. A tool still depends on the person using it. I just told you that today. People panic about
Mm-hmm.
AI and everything, but they don't know. I have cussed AI out so many times for not getting stuff right, and I had to
Mm-hmm.
get it back on track, and it would tell me, okay, you're right. So everything that they're coming out with now, they still need us. They
Mm-hmm.
still need us. A microphone doesn't automatically make somebody interesting, right? Because it's just a microphone sitting there.
Right.
Okay. A camera doesn't automatically make somebody creative.
Right.
AI doesn't automatically get somebody vision. The person still matters.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I keep thinking about is how people act like humans used to remember everything naturally with no help at all. That's not true.
Right.
People always had systems. They
Mm-hmm.
wrote things down. I
Mm-hmm.
still do. They use calendars. They use notebooks, libraries, encyclopedias, and all those sticky notes,
Oh
address
yeah.
books. Humans have been offloading information forever.
Exactly. And Google
Hmm.
just made it faster.
Yes.
And honestly, I think people confuse that offloading with losing ability.
Hmm.
Those are two different things.
Hmm.
If I use my phone calendar so I don't forget appointments, that doesn't mean my brain stopped working. It means
Right.
I'm using a tool to handle the repetitive stuff so
Hmm.
my mental energy can go somewhere else.
Yes, right. Because your brain can only hold so much at once. I know, you're short out. Modern life always throws a ton of information at people every day. Think about it, your bills, schedules, work, family stuff, messages, news, passwords, notifications, every day, nonstop. So, of
Hmm.
course, people start leaning on tools more.
And honestly, I think some people romanticize struggle a little bit too much.
Hmm.
Like they'll say, back in my day, we memorized phone numbers. Okay,
Hmm.
but now people use that same phone to run their business, edit videos, learn skills, connect globally, and build income streams from home.
Hmm.
The tool changed and the mental energy shifted somewhere else.
And that's the part I think that really matters. The brain is not just meant to store endless facts all day long.
Right.
It's also meant to imagine things.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to solve problems,
Mm-hmm.
make connections, tell stories, notice patterns, and
Mm-hmm.
create ideas. And sometimes when you remove the mental clutter, you actually free up space for that kind of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Exactly. I think people assume that memory equates to intelligence, but those are not always the same thing. You can memorize 1,000 facts and still not know how to apply any of them in real life. Meanwhile, somebody else might not remember every detail perfectly, but they know how to figure things out and communicate and make
Hmm.
things happen. That still takes intelligence.
Yeah, and honestly, we accept this idea in so many different parts of life. Nobody expects people to hunt for food with spears anymore. No, or some people still do. Nobody expects people to build fires with sticks every morning just to
Hmm.
prove they're capable humans. We accept tools and physical life a long time ago. People just got weird when the tools became mental or digital.
And that's such a good point. And I think some of the fear comes from how fast everything changed. It happened really quickly. Some
Yes.
people grew up in a world where information was slow to access. And now you can just ask one question online and get an answer immediately. That
Hmm.
changes how people learn and it changes their patience levels too. But different
Mm,
doesn't automatically mean worse.
exactly. Some people are more mentally exhausted now than they ever been. So
Hmm.
technology helps remove some friction from daily life. I don't automatically think that's a bad thing. The real question is what people do with the extra space they gain. Do they use it to create?
Hmm.
Do they use it to learn? Do they use it to rest, to connect, or to build something meaningful? Or do they just fill every second with noise? Hmm.
Hmm.
All right, who's responsible for your brain? Now, this is the text part that gets a little heavier because there's a real legal conversation happening around social media right now.
Yeah.
If you got school district parents and even entire states suing companies like Meta, TikTok, YouTube. They're saying these platforms were designed to be addictive and
Hmm.
that they're contributing to anxiety, depression, and tension problems, all kinds of mental health issues, especially for the younger people. And honestly, I don't think that conversation is fake, but some of these apps absolutely know how to keep people scrolling.
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
These platforms study human behavior for a living. So they
Yes.
know what keeps people watching and clicking,
Hmm.
reacting, arguing, all of it.
Hmm.
You open one app for 5 minutes and suddenly an hour disappeared. And most people have experienced that at least
At
once.
least.
So I understand why people are asking questions about responsibility.
Right. And one of the biggest phrases in these lawsuits is the duty of care. Basically, asking if these companies have a responsibility to protect users from harmful effects created by their own systems. And honestly, I think the answer is probably yes to a certain extent. If a company knows something is harming people, especially kids, I do think there should be conversations about limits, warnings, safeguardings, and things like that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I also think people have to take some ownership over their own mental space too.
Yes, ownership.
Because eventually we all have to decide what we consume, how long we stay online, who we follow,
Hmm.
and what we allow into our head every single day. And
That's true.
technology influences people, but people also make the choices.
Exactly. And I think sometimes, society wants one simple villain for complicated problems. People
Mhm.
want to say the phone is evil
Mhm.
or social media ruined everything. But honestly, a lot of deeper issues were already there before the apps even existed. Loneliness existed,
Mhm,
insecurity existed,
mhm,
addiction existed,
mhm,
bullying existed, everything, escapism existed.
mhm.
Technology amplified some things, it exposed some things, but it didn't invent every human problem from scratch.
And that's such an important point. And honestly, your feed just starts
Mm-hmm.
becoming a reflection of what you spend time engaging with.
That's right.
If somebody spends hours watching drama, outrage, negativity, arguments, fear content, eventually their brain starts living in that emotional space all the time. And that's not healthy. But somebody else might use the same exact phone to learn skills and make money and connect with friends, find motivation, or even build a business. It's the same tool, but a different outcome.
Oh, yeah. A hammer can build a house or break a window. The tool itself matters less than how it's being used. And I think
Hmm.
people sometimes give technology way too much power over human agency. We start acting like humans are completely helpless robots with no control at all. That mindset gets dangerous too.
And honestly, learning how to manage your attention might become one of the most important life skills now.
Hmm.
Not avoiding technology completely, not pretending it doesn't exist, actually learning how to use it without letting it completely take over your life.
Hmm.
Because the tools are not going away.
No.
So the real question becomes, are we using them intentionally or are they using us?
Mm, that's good. That was good. All right, vibe coding and the death of gatekeeping. Mm. All right, now this is where things get really interesting. We've been talking about tools and assets, but there's a newer shift happening right now. Now that people still trying to wrap their heads around, that's this idea of vibe coding.
Yeah, and for anybody hearing that phrase for the first time, vibe coding sounds funny, but it's actually simple. It's basically describing what you want to do in plain English, and you explain the logic, the flow, the outcome,
Hmm.
and the feel of it. And then AI helps turn that into something that actually works. So it's code.
Hmm.
And instead of you having to learn every single programming language from scratch, you're focusing on the idea behind what you want to build.
So, in other words, instead of you laying every brick yourself, you're designing a house.
Exactly, you're the architect now.
Yeah.
And that shift is huge because coding used to be one of those skills that felt locked behind all these years of studying and felt not impossible, but definitely not easy to access for the average person. Now, people can build apps, tools, systems, websites, even just by being able to think clearly enough to explain what they want.
And that's where some of the tension comes in because when something that used to be highly specialized becomes more accessible, the people who built their identity around that exclusivity, sometimes they feel threatened. That's just real.
It is. And I can speak on this personally
Hmm.
because I'm literally living it right now.
Hmm.
I built leveluppy.com using these tools like this,
Hmm.
and there's no version of me from a few years ago that would have been able to do that the traditional way.
Hmm.
I didn't go to school for coding, I didn't spend years learning the syntax line by line, but I understood what I wanted to create, how I wanted it to function, and who it was for, and now it exists.
That's powerful because that's not just about convenience, that's about access.
Exactly. And I've been more productive than ever because now I can build tools for myself instead of waiting for someone else to do it or trying to force my ideas into systems that don't really fit. If I need something, I can create it, and that changes how you move.
And that's what people mean when they say the playing field is leveling.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean everybody suddenly has the same outcome. It means more people now have a real chance to participate. The barrier to entry is lower.
And that's why gatekeeping is slowly fading, because you can't really gatekeep
Mhm.
information the same way when it's widely available. You can't tell people you can't do this when they can just literally go online and start learning or building immediately.
Yeah.
That control is gone.
And I think some people mistake that shift for decline. They see more people entering spaces they used to be exclusive. Instead of seeing growth, they assume quality is dropping or that standards are disappearing. But really, it's just more voices in the room now.
More voices and views.
Just more voices in the room. I like that.
Yeah.
The second time you tied us in.
Exactly. And not
hmm
everybody's going to use these tools well, and that's true for
hmm
anything.
That's right.
But more people have the ability to try, to build
hmm
and experiment and create,
hmm
and it's not a bad thing. That's how new ideas happen.
And it goes back to what we said earlier. The tool doesn't replace the person. You still need vision.
Mhm.
You still need ideas.
Mhm.
You still need taste.
Mhm.
And you still need intention. AI can help you build something, but it can't decide what's worth building.
Right.
One thing I don't think people talk about enough is how much technology has erased location as a limitation. Like growing up, where you live mattered a lot more than people like to admit.
Mhm.
Your zip code could decide your opportunity,
Mhm.
your exposure, even what you believe was possible for life.
That part. Because
Mm,
if you didn't have access to certain schools, certain networks, certain environments, you were kind of boxed in unless you
mhm.
found a way out physically. And now that's not completely gone, but it's definitely different.
Yeah, because now you can be sitting in a small town mm, and still be connected to the entire world. You can learn from people in different countries. You can
Mhm.
work with people across the time zone. You can
Mhm.
build something that reaches way beyond your immediate surrounding. And that's a big shift
And we see it with this show. We'll
all the
have people
time.
tuning in from completely different places, different backgrounds, different cultures, different experiences, all in the same conversation.
hmm
That wasn't normal like that before.
Not at all. Not at all. And I think that's another reason that we're getting dumber. Argument feels off to me because if anything, people have more access to perspectives than ever before. You can hear how somebody lives on the other side of the world in real time. That expands your thinking if you actually engage with it.
Exactly. And it also gives people a chance to create opportunities
hmm
without having to leave home first. You can start something where you are,
hmm
and you don't have to wait until you move into a bigger city or get into a certain circle just to start.
Right.
You can build from your current situation and let the internet carry it outward.
And that matters because there are talented people everywhere.
Mhm.
There are creative people everywhere. And
Mhm.
there are smart people everywhere.
Mhm.
They just didn't have a way to show it.
Now they do.
hmm
And I think that's a part of why some people feel overwhelmed too,
hmm
because now you're not just competing with your immediate environment, You're seeing what people all over the world are doing. And that can either inspire you or intimidate you, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, that's real. I'd rather have the access than to be limited. I'd rather have the option to connect, to learn, to build, to share, than to be stuck only knowing what's right in front of me.
Same. And I think that's something people should really sit with.
Hmm.
Technology didn't just change how we think, it changed who gets to participate. And that alone shifts everything.
I think another part of this conversation that doesn't get enough attention is what we're actually doing with our free time. Because for a long time, being smart was tied to always being productive, always learning something, always working towards something, always proving something. And now we have tools that can give us time back.
Hmm.
But a lot of people don't even know how to sit with that.
And that's real because if you're used to your value
Hmm.
being tied to how much you know or how much you can prove, slowing down can feel uncomfortable. Like if you're not actively doing something
Hmm.
useful, it almost feels wrong, like you're wasting time or falling behind.
Exactly. But what if that's not true? What if a part of being human is actually having the space to just exist, to enjoy things, to learn something just because you're curious, not because you need to impress anybody?
And that's where I think technology can actually help if you use it right. If a tool saves you time on something that's repetitive, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't automatically mean you have to fill that time with more work. You could read something you actually enjoy, you could watch something that makes you laugh, you could learn something random because it interests you, and that's still your brain being active.
Right, and I think people forget leisure has value too. Reading for fun is valuable.
Mhm.
Listening to music is valuable.
Mhm.
Having conversations like this is
Mhm.
valuable. Even just sitting and thinking without a goal attached has its value. That's part of how ideas come from.
Mhm. Exactly. And honestly, some of the smartest ideas don't come when you're forcing yourself to be productive.
Hmm.
They come when your mind has room to wander for a little bit. But if every second is just filled with the pressure to perform or prove something, you don't give yourself that space.
So maybe the question isn't just, are we getting dumber? Maybe it's also, do we even know how to rest anymore? Because if we don't, then we're not really using these tools to improve our lives. We're just speeding up the same cycle in a different way.
And I think people should really think about that. If technology is giving your time back, what
Mhm.
are you doing with it? Are you actually enjoying your life more, or are you finding new ways to stay busy?
The maker movement. Here's a quote that's been floating around for a while that really sums this whole thing up. It came from a sci fi author named Joanna, and I'm not going to pronounce that last name. She said, I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can do art and writing, not for AI to do my art and writing so that I can do my laundry and dishes. And when I first read that, I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Exactly. Because the goal was never to replace the human part of being human. The goal was to remove the stuff that drains you so you actually have the energy left for the things that you care about. But somewhere along the way, people started flipping that idea around.
Right. And now people just worry that the creative parts of life are being automated. They're still stuck doing the everyday chores that take up time and energy. And that feels backwards.
It does, but I also think people have more control over that balance than they realize. Because
Mhm.
even right now, people can use technology to handle their digital chores, like email, scheduling, organizing information, basic
Mhm.
tasks that used to take hours. And if you take that time back, you can choose to put it somewhere better.
And that's the key word, choose, because if you free up time and then you just scroll for 3 more hours, you really didn't gain anything. But if you free up time, then you go make something, that's where the shift happens.
Exactly. And making something doesn't have to mean starting a business or launching a brand either.
Mhm.
It could be something simple like cooking, drawing, writing, building, even just working with your hands in a way that feels real. That kind of stuff grounds you.
Yeah, just like when I get done here, I have pies to finish. So I'm going to be doing stuff with my hands, making up some more of these mini pies.
Oh,
And just
nice.
because I like the bacon, it gives me peace.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Honestly, I think people are craving that more now because everything is so digital, so
Mm-hmm.
fast, so constant. Sometimes doing something slow and physical feels like a reset.
Which is funny because it actually connects to something you've been doing.
Hmm.
You've been crocheting through the chaos lately, and people have been noticing that.
Yeah, I picked it up in a way just to slow my brain down a little bit. There's something about working with the hands that forces you to be present. You can't rush it, you can't scroll and do it well at the same time. You actually have to focus.
And that's exactly the kind of balance that we're talking about. Use technology to clear space,
Hmm.
then use that space to reconnect with something real. And if
Yeah.
y'all haven't seen it yet, Zan's been sharing some of that process over on her YouTube channel. So definitely go
Hmm.
check that out if you want something relaxing to watch or something fun to watch. If or even if you're just curious about getting into crocheting yourself.
Yes, go over there and watch a TikTok. If you've been checking out my crochet videos,
Hmm.
crocheting through the chaos with Zan. It's on TikTok and it's on YouTube, and they're doing well. So please go and give a subscribe. It helps us out here at the podcast. It's been fun just documenting the process, not overthinking it. And honestly, that's what this whole segment comes down to. We don't need less tools. We need better intention with how we use them.
Exactly. Let the tools handle the chores so you can actually
Hmm.
be a maker again.
Yeah, I think this is where the mindset shift really has to happen because a lot of people think of themselves like a storage system. Like their value comes from how much information they can hold, how many facts they can recall, and how much they can prove they know on the spot. But that's not really the world we're living in anymore.
Not at all. You're not a filing cabinet. You're
Mm-mm.
more like a director now. You're the one deciding what gets built, what matters, what direction something goes in, and the tools are there to help you execute that vision.
Exactly, because if information is more accessible than ever, then just having information is not as rare as it used to be. What becomes valuable is what you do with it, how you connect ideas, how you communicate them,
Hmm.
how you turn them into something useful or meaningful.
And that's where a lot of people get stuck.
Hmm.
They're waiting until they feel like they know enough before they
Yeah.
start building something. But the reality is, you can start with what you know right now and figure the rest out as you go,
Hmm.
especially with the tools that are available today.
Right, because you don't need to be the best at every single piece anymore. You just need to understand the big picture and be willing to direct the process. That's
Hmm.
a completely different skill set. Just memorizing information is a different skill set.
Right. And honestly,
Hmm.
it's more creative. You're
Yes.
making decisions, you're shaping the outcomes, and you're
Hmm.
experimenting, adjusting, and learning in real time. That's active thinking.
And I think that's what people miss when they say technology is making people dumber. If anything, it's pushing people to think differently. You have to be clearer about what you want. You have to be more intentional.
Hmm.
You have to be able to explain your ideas in a way that actually makes sense. That's not passive.
Not at all. And the people who are really thriving right now are the ones who understand that.
Hmm.
They're not trying to compete with the tool, they're using the tool to bring their ideas to life faster and more efficiently.
Exactly. You don't have to get extra points for doing everything the hard way if the end result is the same. What
Hmm.
matters is the outcome and the
Hmm.
impact.
And your perspective. Because two people can use the same exact tools and come up with completely different results just based on how they think. So that's where your individuality still shows up.
So, yeah, you're not a storage unit anymore. You're the one calling the shots. And that shift alone changes how we should be thinking about intelligence in the first place.
Hmm.
I think this next part might surprise some people. Fun is actually a skill, and I don't think we talk about that enough, especially in the culture where being busy is seen as being important or intelligent.
That's so true. People wear
Mhm.
busy like a badge of honor.
Yeah,
like if
busy.
like if you're always doing something, always stressed, always overwhelmed, that somehow means you're doing life correctly. But that's not always the case.
Not at all. Because being busy doesn't automatically mean you're thinking deeply. It doesn't mean you're creating anything meaningful. It doesn't mean you're moving forward. Sometimes it just means you're constantly occupied.
And honestly, some people don't even know how to have fun anymore without feeling guilty.
Mhm.
Like if they sit down to watch something or play a game, laugh, or just relax, there's this voice in the back of their head saying, you should be doing
You
something
should
more
be doing
productive
something.
right now.
It really is. And I think that mindset connects back to this whole idea of intelligence. Some people think being smart, always being serious, always working, always focusing on the output, but your brain needs balance.
Exactly. Entertainment, laughter, curiosity, even just doing something silly sometimes, all of that keeps your brain flexible. It
E-
gives you a break from the constant pressure, it lets your mind reset, and honestly, it can make you more creative too.
Right. Because when your brain is relaxed, it can make connections in a different way. Ideas come easier. You notice things differently. You're not forcing every thought.
And I think people need to hear this clearly. You're not wasting your brain by enjoying your life. Watching something you like, listening to music, playing a game, having a conversation with your friends, all of that is part of being human.
Yeah, exactly. The problem isn't fun. The problem is when people replace their entire life with passive consumption and never actually engage creative or think for themselves. But fun is in itself is not the enemy.
Not at all. If anything, learning how to enjoy your time without guilt is part of using your brain in a healthy way. Because what's the point of having all these tools and all this access and all this ability if you never actually let yourself enjoy anything?
Yeah, that's a real question too, because intelligence isn't just about what you produce, it's also about how you experience your life.
Yeah, and that's why we had that episode about why you shouldn't stop having fun even as an adult.
That's right, exactly. And that episode hit for a reason because a lot of people need permission to hear that. Like you don't outgrow joy, you don't outgrow curiosity, you don't
Hmm.
outgrow fun. If anything, you need it more as life gets more complex.
Right? And honestly, that ties perfectly into this final challenge for tonight. Because we've been talking about tools, time, intelligence, all of that, but none of it matters if people don't actually do anything different after this conversation.
Exactly. So here's the challenge then. Use a tool today to remove one thing off your plate. just one. It could be something small. Automate something, ask AI to help you organize something, set up something that saves you time, get one task handled faster than you normally would.
Just one thing. Don't overthink it. Don't try to change your whole life overnight. Just pick something that usually takes your time and let a tool handle it for you.
And then here's the important part, do not fill that time back up with more busy work. Use that space for something real.
Yes, go make something. Use your hands. Cook something. Draw something. Write something. Clean up your space while listening to music that you actually like. Or even just sit down and watch something that you've been meaning to watch without
Mhm.
feeling guilty about it.
Yes, because the goal is not to become more efficient, just to stay just as stressed. The goal is to create room in your life.
And I think people underestimate how powerful that is.
Mhm.
One small shift like that can start changing how you see your time, how you use your energy, and honestly, how you feel from day to day.
So, yeah, that's the challenge. Let the tools handle one chore and you go be human for 1 minute. All right, before we wrap up, quick check in with the chat. If you're here with us live or catching this later, think about that challenge. What's one thing you could let a tool handle so you can actually take some time back for yourself? No pressure to answer right now. Just sit with it.
Yeah, and really think about it. Not what sounds impressive, not
Mm-hmm.
what looks productive, what would actually make your day feel a little lighter if you didn't have to do it the long way. And what would you replace that time with?
Because at the end of the day, that's what this whole conversation comes down to. We are not getting dumber. We're just in a different era where the way we use our brains is changing. The
Mm-hmm.
tools have changed.
Mm-hmm.
The assets changed. The pace has changed. But the human part is still there.
Exactly. You still have to think,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to decide, you still have to create something meaningful with the tools in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And technology didn't take that away. If anything, it gave more people the chance to actually do something with it.
Yes. And maybe the real question isn't are we getting dumber? Maybe it's are we using what we have in a way that actually improves our life?
That's the one. Because you can have all the tools in the world and still feel stuck if you're not intentional. But you can also take something simple, use it well, and completely change how you move.
So, yeah, we appreciate you all for being here with us tonight. This is episode 68 of Voices
Yes.
and Views. Whether you agree, disagree, or you're still thinking it through, that's the point. Keep the conversation going.
And as always, take care of your mind, be intentional with your time, and don't forget to enjoy your life a little bit.
And we will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
We gon' talk about some things tonight. Got a tea in a glass with ice. We got voices, we got views tonight. We got voices, we got views tonight. We gon' talk about some things tonight. Got a tea in a glass with ice. We got voices, we got views tonight. We got voices, we got views tonight.